Amara was the kind of woman who turned heads wherever she went. Her beauty was effortless, striking eyes, flawless skin, and a grace that seemed almost otherworldly. But beyond her physical allure, she was kind, intelligent, and full of life. A university student with a bright future, she lived every day as if it were a celebration. She had friends who adored her, admirers who wished to be close to her, and a spirit that was free. One day, an important university conference was announced. The event was set to host distinguished professionals, and attendance was highly encouraged. Amara had little interest in attending. Conferences were not her thing. But her best friend, Linda, persuaded her. "Come on, Amara. It's a great networking opportunity. Besides, you never know who you might meet." Amara sighed, rolling her eyes, but eventually gave in. The conference hall was filled with students, professors, and professionals from various fields. Amara sat in the middle row, scrolling through her phone absent-mindedly, waiting for the event to be over. But when one of the guest speakers took the stage, something shifted. Kofi. He was striking. Tall, well-dressed, and exuding a quiet confidence that commanded attention. He was only 32, yet already a highly respected engineer and entrepreneur. His deep, smooth voice filled the hall as he spoke with wisdom far beyond his years. Amara was captivated. She stopped taking notes. She stopped listening to the speech itself. Instead, she stared. Kofi, too, noticed her. In a hall filled with people, his eyes found hers. There was something about Amara that drew him in. When the event ended, students rushed to take photos with the speakers. Amara, however, remained in her seat, lost in her thoughts. She was unaware that Kofi was watching her. When the crowd thinned, he approached her. "I noticed you staring at me throughout my speech," Kofi said, a teasing smile playing on his lips. Amara's face turned red with embarrassment. She tried to speak, but words failed her. She simply smiled. Kofi and Amara exchanged contacts and started talking. What began as casual conversations soon turned into deep, intimate discussions. He was everything she had ever wanted: charming, intelligent, wealthy, and incredibly thoughtful. Soon, they were inseparable. Kofi spoiled Amara, taking her to the most expensive restaurants, surprising her with gifts, and treating her like a queen. He often picked her up from university in a luxurious car. He even provided financial support for her mother, which melted Amara's heart. Kofi never spoke about his family. His house was elegant and well-furnished, yet there were no family photos on the walls. Whenever Amara brought up the topic of his relatives, he would dismiss it. "I'll introduce you to them when the time is right," he always said. At first, Amara didn't mind, but as time passed, her curiosity grew. One day, Kofi informed Amara that he would be leaving for a business trip. "I'll be gone for a month," he said, kissing her forehead. They used to text and call each other every day. The month passed, then another week, then 2. Kofi was silent. No calls, no texts. Worried, Amara decided to visit his home. She had a spare key, after all. When she arrived, she was greeted by a stranger, a security guard she had never seen before. "Good afternoon, young lady. Can I help you?" he asked politely. Amara frowned. "Where is the usual gatekeeper?" "Where is Kofi's gatekeeper?" she asked. The man looked puzzled. "I don't know who you're talking about, miss. I have been working here for 10 years. Amara's heartbeat quickened. 10 years? That's impossible. Kofi's gatekeeper is different. Where is Kofi? The guard tilted his head. "I don't know any Kofi. The owner of this house is Mr. Frederick. He is currently at work, but his wife and children are inside." Amara's entire world crumbled in an instant. "No, this is Kofi's house. I have been here many times," she insisted. "Miss, I think you're confused," the gatekeeper replied. But Amara wasn't confused. She knew what she had seen, where she had spent nights, where she had been loved. Amara couldn't sleep. The letter warning her to stop searching for Kofi haunted her thoughts. She knew she should be afraid, but her heart refused to let go. Who was Kofi? Why did he disappear? And most importantly, who had she been in love with? Desperate for answers, she reached out to David, the private investigator she had hired. She begged him to dig deeper, even if it meant putting himself at risk. "I need to know the truth, David, even if it hurts me." David agreed, though he warned her that some answers were better left undiscovered. Days passed with no progress, until one night, David called her, his voice shaky. "Amara, I found something. A relative. A man who claims to know Kofi." Amara's heart pounded. "Who is he?" His name is Mr. Nana Owusu. He's an elderly man, Kofi's uncle. But Amara, he told me something disturbing. Something that doesn't make sense. What is it? She whispered. David took a deep breath. Kofi died 20 years ago in a car accident. The world around Amara spun. That's impossible, she whispered. I was with him. I touched him. I loved him. I know, David said, his voice barely above a whisper. But his uncle swears Kofi died when he was just 12 years old, and he has proof. The next day, Amara and David drove to a small village outside the city, where Nana Owusu lived. The old man welcomed them into his modest home. His hands trembled as he poured them tea. Amara noticed that his eyes held a deep sadness, as if he had been carrying grief for decades. Tell me about Kofi, Amara pleaded. Nana Owusu sighed and reached for a dusty photo album. He opened it to a page with an old picture of a boy, smiling, innocent, full of life. This was Kofi, the old man said. He was my late brother's son, a bright, happy child. Amara stared at the picture. The boy looked familiar, but it wasn't the man she knew. Are you sure this is the same Kofi? She asked, her voice trembling. The old man nodded solemnly. Kofi died 20 years ago. It was a tragic accident. A truck lost control and hit his parents' car. Everyone inside died instantly. Amara's breath caught in her throat. But I met him. I spent time with him. He was real. The old man's expression darkened. You met something, child, but it was not Kofi. David leaned forward. Mr. Owusu, is there any chance someone could have been impersonating Kofi? The old man shook his head. I thought the same thing when you called me, but the truth is, no one in our family has used Kofi's name since his death. He was our only child. There is no one left to impersonate him. Amara felt sick. Then who was he? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Nana Owusu hesitated before speaking. Sometimes the spirits of the dead do not rest. Sometimes, when a soul dies before its time, it lingers in the world of the living, searching for something or someone. A chill ran down Amara's spine. Are you saying I fell in love with a ghost? The old man looked at her with deep sorrow. I don't know, child, but whatever you loved, it was never meant to exist. Amara left the old man's house feeling more lost than ever, but she wasn't ready to give up. She went back to the called Kofi's house one last time. She requested the gatekeeper if could talk to the owner of the house. The gatekeeper allowed her in. She talked to the owner of the house, but he assured her that the house was his, and he has been living there with his family for 15 years now. Amara was so devastated. She went back to her house, wondering if the world was even real. As she lay on her bed, her mind's full of unanswered questions. Then, something caught her eye. A mirror. For a second, she thought she saw movement behind her. She turned quickly. Nothing. But as she looked into the mirror again, her blood ran cold. Kofi was standing there, staring at her. His face was empty, his eyes dark with sorrow. Why did you look for me, Amara? His voice echoed in her mind. Her throat tightened. Who are you? She whispered, tears streaming down her face. Kofi smiled sadly. I don't know anymore. Then he disappeared. The room turned silent, cold. Amara collapsed to the floor, sobbing. That night, she received one last message. It was from Kofi's number. But it wasn't a text, it was a voice note. Hands trembling, she pressed play. Amara, you made me feel alive again. For a moment, I forgot what I was. But now, it's time for me to go. Don't look for me anymore. Please, forget me. The message ended. Amara dropped the phone, staring at the screen in shock. Tears welled in her eyes. She had loved a man who had never truly existed.